Now let's talk about the life cycle of Pteridophyta. So normally Pteridophyta is a sporophytic plant where the dominant plant body is a sporophyte, which is 2n. So in sporophyte we find that well differentiation of root, stem and leaves. And normally these sporophyte plant bear sporangia or sporophylls. So these sporangia sporophylls do produce spore. So they produce spore. Which is haploids. Means these sporangia are produced by meiotic process and sporophylls that do bears this sporangia. Hence sporophyte is the dominant plant body in the life cycle of Pteridophytes. So detailed structure and detailed sporangia, how the sporangia looks like, how the sporophylls look like, all these are explained in our long video. So this is a short video for quick revision in the NEET point of view. So normally when we move to the spore formation, we find the spores are produced by meiosis. So normally the spores are haploid in nature. And the germination of these particular spores gives rise to a gametophyte plant. And the gametophyte plant or pteridophyte is called as the Prothallus, which is an irregular shape-like structure, is a Prothallus. In some we find this Prothallus is a heart shape-like structure, that is Diapteris. In Diapteris, the sporophyte, the gametophyte is a heart shape-like structure. So the Prothallus is multicellular, they are very green, they are autotrophic in nature, they are haploid and they are independent, means free living, they never depend on the sporophyte. Got it? So they are independent. They never depend on the sporophyte. They are normally green. So they are photosynthetic in nature. But sporophyte, as it is a gametophyte, so it is haploid in nature. So as it's a gametophytic plant, they will produce gamete. So when they produce gametes, means they must have the sex organ. So these Prothallus contains the sex organ in the form of antheridia and archegonia. So these antheridia are the male sex organs. They produce the sperms, that is called as antherozoids, which are multiciliated. So these sperms are multiciliated. So they produce sperms which are multiciliated. And they produce archegonium. So this is the archegonium where we find the venter, the neck, the venter and the egg cells are present. And here inside the archegonium we find the egg is present, this egg. And antheridium is a tennis racket-like structure. It is a tennis racket-like structure where we find that the spermatozoids are present, or we can call them as the antherozoids are present. So this is how the sex organs helps in the production of gametes, like egg and antherozoids are the male and the female sex organ. Now let's move into the fertilization. So they need external water for fertilization. So as the sperms are ciliated, so they move in water. So as they move in water, so they swim in water and move to the archegonium egg for fertilization. After fertilization, zygote is produced, which is 2n. And the development of zygote gives rise to sporophyte. So here we come to know that zygote develops into sporophyte, whereas spore develops into gametophyte. Got it? So if the question comes, the initial stage of gametophyte is spore. Yes, the initial stage of gametophyte is spore, and the initial stage of sporophyte is, that is zygote. The initial stage of sporophyte, that is called as what? Now zygote. Now the best part of this, that they have alternation of generation, means the dominant is sporophyte and they have a small gametophytic plant. So the generation is alternated by sporophytic phase and gametophytic phase. So they have a N2N phase and an N phase. So we find that they have dominant diploid phase followed by a short-lived haploid phase. So it is a diploid nature, it is diplontic in nature. So types of spores. So on the basis of spores, the Pteridophyte is again classified in two types, Homosporous Pteridophyta and heterosporous Pteridophyta. Homosporous matlab they contains one type of spores, means the male spore and the female spore, whatever meant, the spore is same, because we cannot differentiate it which will produce into male gametophyte or which spore will produce in female gametophyte, because all the spores are same in nature. But in heterospore we find a small spore is present that will develop into male gametophyte, and a large spore is present that will develop into female gametophyte. So microspore develops into male gametophyte and megaspore develops into female gametophyte. And these heterospory is found in Selagilena, the first heterospory nature, followed by Salvinia, Marsilia and Azolla. So as any plant having heterospory nature, spore means they will produce seed. So Selagilena is the first pteridophyte having heterospory seed habitat. Got it? So Selagilena is the first having this one, the first one having, that is seed habitat. So this seed habitat is found in Selagilena, is the first, then followed by Salvinia, Marsilia and Azolla. So here we came to know that evolutionary importance, that heterosporous seed habitat starts from Pteridophyta and that is from Selagilena. So from Selagilena onwards we find seeds are found to be present, and seed is only possible if they are heterosporous, means if they have microspores and megaspores. Okay, so this is given by AKB sir, and you can get all the study materials, all the online class, online exam, everything you can get in this particular site. Okay, thank you for watching my video.